let's push, guys. As you said, the Brumbies. So let's go into their ins and outs. Nelson, do you want to go through some of the main ins for them?
Yeah, there's not probably a lot coming in this year. Chris Faraway-Sortia, quite an exciting player who played a fair bit of rugby for the Reds, also played Wallabies at age 19. I'm pretty sure he was in the squad early days for them. Very exciting. Covers outside centre, covers the wings. Getting a little bit later on in his years, has had a few injury-prone years, but he's an exciting player. Also, Jessie Mogg coming from Powell, winger/fullback. You typically think as a fullback, but played a fair bit of time on the wing, on the right wing, I think it was, for Powell as well. I'll jump straight into the outs as well. A couple of these. Bailey Kunzel, big loss. Rishan Pasatoa, these guys are big losses because of their potential in the future rather than early days. At the moment, you probably can throw in terms of the halves a similar player there. Isaac Fines, Lilia Wasa. He's quite an exciting player, I think, as a halfback. Came from the Force, and all three of these guys have headed back there as well. Mack Hansen, horrible to see him leave Australia. Should have gone to the Tars. Tom Cusack, Solomon Ekata gone to Moana Pacifica, which is exciting to see. Henry Stowers to Pacifica as well. Will Miller has again retired for the second time, so we'll probably see him midway through the season.
And guys, how many years until we see Mack Hansen play for Ireland?
This year. This Six Nations.
Right, okay.
Not too long.
He's their top try scorer, the top run meters, top line breaks, I'm pretty sure, and all those stats in the competition. So
how did he go?
He was in the squad, and they're talking about him probably being their most exciting winger, and they have some good wingers. So
they got James Lowe, mate.
We're going to get to the wingers because I'm sure Craig's going to have a crack at who could well be their starter. How Mack Hansen didn't get a lot of game time and really incentivises out and get. But let's push. Best 15. Craigs, what do we got?
All right. The veteran James Slipper still getting it done at I don't know how old he is now, maybe like 33 or something, 34, but still getting it done. Falau Fainga, let's hope he can really return to, try scoring form this year after a quiet one last year. Alan Alatoa, the Capitan, joined us on the pod last year. Absolute legend and one of the top fantasy props. Darcy Swain and Nick Frost. Got the two youngsters in here. They also have Caden Neville, who's just a big body to fill the set piece. But,
we're going to keep calling the Caden Neville downfall until it happens.
It's happening.
That's exactly right. So, but no, I mean, with Darcy Swain in the Wallabies and Nick Frost just getting better and better each year, I think this is the way we feel about it. In the back row, Pete Samu, Jerome Brown, and Rob Valentini. Absolute fire, that back row. We're hoping Jerome Brown can stay fit. He battled with a few injuries last year, but we think after the departing players, he's probably the first choice 7. They've got some young talent there, absolutely, with the likes of Rory Scott and I forget the other bloke's name, but Luke Reimer. We see that as a starting back row. Who wants to take us through the backs?
Yeah, man, I'll go. We got Nick White and Noah Alessio. I think no-brainer for 9 and 10. Centers Ray Simone, Lenny Ikitau. Ikitau obviously has really established himself as the first choice outside centre for the Wallabies. Ray Simone, probably not too far off from there as well, and has got a little bit of experience at test level.
Apparently he was carrying an injury all last season as well, so
he's still good.
So he was still quite good. So I mean, him at his best is quite an exciting player. So
absolutely, very. I think a multi-dimensional player has the ability to run, kick, pass. But outside backs, I think, is probably where there's a little bit of. I think we're a bit divided. I've got Andy Muirhead at 11, the ultimate overachiever. Tommy Wright on the right wing and Tom Banks at fullback. I know you guys have a different opinion for one of those.
Yeah, look, I think Craig's is probably in the same vein of thinking as me. We've got Banks.
The correct line of thinking, yeah.
I agree with that. Tommy Wright's definitely going to fill one of those roles on the wing. The other one is Mogg, Jessie Mogg. I think he's come desiring a fullback jersey, knowing he can cover the wing as well. Has had experience there in recent years. So for me, I think Jessie Mogg's going to get a decent amount of time, and it's probably going to be on the wing and it's going to be on the right wing. And I think we're going to see that dual kind of winger role. Muirhead impresses far too much. It's really frustrating. I don't know what it is. But look, I just don't think he has the rounded game of Mogg. And I think Mogg is going to add something to this side. His kicking game, his knowledge and positional play is far better for me.
Yeah, I won't get started on. I just still don't know how Andy Muirhead got in the Wallabies squad at all. Like that.
Can I tell you what I think it should be?
Yeah.
I think it should be Tom Wright left wing, Chris Bowell Sortia right wing, Jessie Mogg fullback. Can we all just push that?
Look, I would actually pick that as my starting back three.
Yeah, it's not going to be that, but let's keep going.
Perfect.
Look, key questions, guys. How do, on that note, CFS, Jessie Mogg and Cam Clark,
we didn't mention Cam Clark as well. He's come back from
purposely.
How do they fit in? Gargi?
Well, I mean, you literally just said it just then. I would start the CFS, Mogg and Tommy Wright. Cam Clark's an interesting one. I'm not sure. Like, did they kind of sign Cam Clark and Chris Sortia at the same time? Like, it seems weird to have brought. I mean, yeah, it's good to have depth, but have brought so many players in for the same position.
Look, he obviously. I think he was looking for a way back into Australia. Potentially is my thought process. It's been a tough few years. Look, for me, I think he doesn't add the versatility in positions, that sort of thing. Cam Clark. So if he's not starting, which I don't see him starting, I probably don't see him in the 23. CFS covers wing and centres. Mogg covers wing and fullback. So for me, if anyone misses out, it's probably Clark.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
and Mogg has just been absolutely awesome. Like he left, he was already sick at the Brumbies, but he's just gotten better and better in his career overseas. And if you guys go, he's getting old, but he's probably the fastest guy in the Brumbies squad. He's lightning quick. And he's got a hell of a boot. So I think we'll definitely see a lot of him. It's just how and where.
Look, I'm going to throw this question to Harry. There is bulk hookers in this Brumbies squad, which is selfish from everyone from ACT. They've got 3 Wallabies hookers. Has Lonergan surpassed McInerney? They've got Flau Fainga. They've got young Pollard, who you probably don't rate as high as you should. How does this play out for them in this year?
Don't know me. I thought Billy Pollard will get his Wallabies cap this year and we'll go to 4.
Yeah, close. Probably close.
Now, look, I think
we can all agree for Lau's first, but it's that second two.
Yeah, exactly right. I completely agree. I think Lonergan's probably going to usurp McInerney, and I've said his name right this year, which is a fantastic start to the year. No, I didn't want to say it because I don't want to get back in the habit. But yeah, they've got way too much depth, and I think that'll be it. Fainga will get the bulk of the time. Lonergan, McInerney will rotate a little bit, get the odd start, and if there's an injury, then they'll share the minutes. And Billy Pollard will sit there and learn off the others.
And again, let me just reiterate this again on the podcast. His nickname is Nos. I mean, even the commentators call him Nos Lonergan. That's the best. So I want to see a lot of him. I want to see him on the bench every week and getting more and more game time because he is very exciting. I think it just depends. Is he in the picture for the 2023 World Cup extended Wallabies squad? Like, is he the third hooker you take with you on tour? Because if he is, then you've got to see him as the on the bench every game for the Brumbies this year. If he's not, then you can afford to take your time. He's still a very young player, but
yeah, I just don't think they know, to be honest. But look, next question. If they lose Noah Lolesio, are they completely screwed, given that they've lost Pasatoa and Bailey Kunzel to the Western Force?
Look, I think it'd be a huge blow for them. It would be a huge blow for them. I think someone who debuted at a similar time, Ari Simone, could at a stretch cover them, but he's not your typical. He is a distributor. He's not your typical player for them. Can kick, can distribute the ball.
Do you think that if Lolesio went down, Simone would be the guy that they put in?
Honestly,
yeah.
I'm not a humongous fan of Rodney Iona. I think Rodney Iona would get a real crack there, but I do think they have Chris Sortia, who they can bring into the centres. With Len Ikitau, they could have a really strong centre pairing there. Yep. So, look, I probably, for me, I would do it. I don't necessarily know if they would.
Can we trade them one of our 10s from the TARS and just, we'll have Lonergan or just,
Yeah. I think
we'll have Pollard or any of them.
There's a few players I take from that side. But all right, so Kagi, I just want a one-word answer, yes or no. No, are the Brumbies screwed if Lolesio goes down?
Yes, they are.
Good. And last question: can the Brumbies match it with the New Zealand teams?
A couple. Not the Blues, not the Crusaders.
I feel like you're just going to rattle down through the list. I don't know. It's interesting. If you look at the Brumbies this year, do you think they're as strong as they were last year?
Look, I think they probably are, not as much in depth.
Okay.
I think Yeah.
I think they are 100%.
I think they are as strong as they were last year, except it's only going to take a few injuries, and then they're not. They're very much not.
To me, the only worry is Alessio. If Alessio goes down, they're screwed. Other than that, I think they're fine.
I mean, they've lost, if we want to rattle them off really quickly,
yeah.
Two options in fly halves as your backups. They've lost a full-back option. They've lost two back row options, flank options.
Back row,
with Stowers as well.
Back row doesn't matter. Stowers didn't get many minutes. Cusack, Will Miller, both solid, but not set the world alight, and they've got some good workhorses behind them.
They've got less depth. I think
the key is with the Brumbies, as always, they've got an absolute gun forward pack with some really great depth there that's going to carry them through a whole season. It's just can the backs basically. Can they play Mogg and instead of Muirhead, and then we'll be happy days. So
yeah, look to round out the stock market. I've got Rising. I've got Jerome Brown. I've been waiting for him to get an injury-free season for a while. Pete Samu, I think, will play 80 minutes. He only played more than 60 minutes in 4 out of 7 games last year. I think he'll play week in, week out with that change in back row depth. And Nick Frost, I think he finished the last 6 games of the season with more than 60 minutes. So, I mean, his obvious competition is Neville, but he's an absolute prospect and one that I think will go big this year.
He's significantly bulked up for this year and rates himself as not losing his speed and his mobility around the paddock, having a very big off-season.
Yep.
If we want to jump across into the stocks falling, we already touched on him. We all see it coming. Caterin, as Harry likes to call him, Caden Neville. Look, we called it wrong last year, but towards the back end of last year, he did lose that starting position. I think we see the transition of him out of this starting side, getting minimal minutes towards the back end of this season. So Caden Neville, for me, is the man going downhill.
Yeah, I think the only thing Neville brings is he's a big body in set piece. He's very good in set piece. Darcy Swain now obviously is a weapon in the line out, definitely the line out king. But in the scrums and whatever, like obviously Frost has put on a lot of size last year. I remember commenting that. Probably has done it again this year.
6 kilos this year, I think.
But Caden Neville I think you forget how big he is. He is a very big unit.
I think Nick Frost is 206 centimetres, 205 centimetres. I actually think he could be bigger than Caden Neville now.
Oh, I'm positive he's not. Caden Neville is probably like 125 kilos. He's a very big dude.
So Nick Frost is 2 metres and 6 centimetres.
Yeah.
And 120 kilos.
Caden Neville is 123 kilos and 202 centimetres.
And I think that's before Frost, those numbers on Wikipedia, before Frost has put weight on. So I think he...
I still today would back Caden Neville is, I think, quite big. Bigger there.
Couple kilos heavier and more centimetres smaller. So.
All right, guys, let's push on. Smokies for us, we had F. Sotia and Jessie Mogg, who we've mentioned. So we'll push on from there.